I've got a workshop coming up where I'm doing a short demonstration for a group that I'm with, and it occurred to me that, well, I need to do a practice to start with, but it occurred to me that you might be interested in seeing my demo. It's to do with colour mixing, and I'm just using three basic process colours, process cyan, process yellow and process magenta, with Mars black. I'm using a 1-inch soft synthetic brush and 1/2 inch soft synthetic brush, with a spatula. You can use a credit card, which I use later. I've got a pencil, some bubble wrap, and the paper I'm using is 140 Bockingford width with a coating of gesso on it. So what I'm doing is so I've taped my paper down to the board. I have an MDF board that I use, so I've just taped that down with low-tack masking tape. I divided the paper up initially into 6 squares, and I just lightly marked that in pencil to try and get them as even as possible. I'm using one of these peel-off palettes that you can use to put my colours out. So what I tend to do is I leave the black in the far right away from all the others so that it doesn't mess them up, and then I go blue, red, yellow and white. And just so that I feel I've got something on the paper, because the white can be intimidating, I just get my pencil and I do some scribbles all over it just to get rid of that whiteness. Now, the idea of the exercise is just to use the process colours to explore colour mixing. And as you know, that you can have the basic colours will mix any colour we've got. So that's the idea of the workshop, is to explore how these different colours mix together, but put them onto the paper and create a page full of colour. Don't think about doing anything. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a picture or anything. It's just mixing colours and finding what colours of these three, how they mix, adding a bit of black to a colour and see how that knocks the colour back, adding white to it to see how it brightens it and gives you a different colour altogether. The thing that I found most surprising was the fact that black and yellow make a green, and I've used that green in a lot of my previous paintings. I just love it. It's one of the things that was a bit of an eye-opener for me through doing this process. Ignore the masking tape that is on the paper. As you'll see, I'm painting over it. I started using a grey, just to get a neutral mid-tone on the page, just to clear it all up. And then I just worked through the colours, and I find for me, I don't know how it is for you when you paint, but a lot of it depends on how I'm feeling at the time. And I've done this many times, and sometimes my colours come out with a purple tone, sometimes they're more orangey yellow. I have a lot of colours on this one, so I don't know how I was feeling on this day. But you can get the colours down. I use the 1-inch flat brush to start with, so that gets a lot of colour on in the first instance, and then later on you'll see I'll start to use the smaller brush. So it's just really playing around, experimenting, and not worrying about whether you're doing it right or wrong, because there is no right or wrong way with this. If you find a colour that you like, use it 2 or 3 times. I tend to have a threes. My things goes in threes. I'll put a bit here, a bit there, and a bit over there. So I'll sort of spread it out. If I do a shape that I like, I did a circle over there, as you can see, I might do something similar again in another place. If I don't like it, I just mix up another colour and paint over it. So that's the beauty of acrylic. It dries very quickly, so you don't have to worry about the drying process. You'll see I use a hairdryer. I have an old hairdryer that I have in my studio. That speeds things up. I'm now down to my 1-inch brush, and I like the blockiness. You know, you can make little squares and all sorts and lines with it, and you know, I find that using a darker colour helps pull the pieces together. But I've also mixed this dark colour. It's not really black, it's got a bit of blue in it. I'm using the credit card now. They're wonderful things, you can use them for all sorts. I like making lines, block squares and lines, I quite like that, and then you can drag the colour down as well. And then bubble wrap is great, so all you need to do is just the side that's got the bubbles on it, just pick your brush up, paint over it, and then press it down. And I love flicking with my paintbrush. It takes practice. Don't make the mix too thin. Make it so it's like a creamy consistency, so that when you tap the brush, I've done it in slow motion so you can perhaps see what I'm doing. Tap the brush and give it a whack against your hand. I must admit, sometimes when I'm in my studio, I use a bigger brush and I just give it a slap. I mean, it doesn't matter where it goes in a studio, but if you're at home, you don't want to end up with paint up your walls or on your furniture, so take care. When it comes to taking the tape off, I've found by experience that if you can, use your hairdryer to heat up the tape. It seems to soften the glue and it peels off better. I have had instances where I've speeded it up as well. I have had instances where it's torn the paper, so heating it up may help. And you end up with 6 small paintings. So I hope you found it useful. I've enjoyed every minute of doing it, I would say, and I've ended up with 6 little mini masterpieces. So thanks for watching. Bye.